Imagine walking through a place where every shadow whispers secrets, where the walls seem to breathe, and time feels wrong. Welcome to the world's most terrifying locations, places soaked in mystery, tragedy, and the unexplainable. We begin deep in the Japanese forest of Aokigahara, also known as the Suicide Forest. At the base of Mount Fuji, this dense woodland is eerily silent, a place where compasses fail and many go in, never to return. Locals speak of restless spirits wandering the undergrowth. Next, we travel to the infamous Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia. Once home to thousands of mentally ill patients, many of whom died within its crumbling walls, visitors now report screams echoing through empty halls, flickering lights, and ghostly figures peeking around corners. Then there's Poveglia Island in Italy, often called the most haunted island in the world. Used as a quarantine zone for plague victims and later as a psychiatric hospital, it's said the very soil is mixed with human ash. No one lives there today, and few dare to visit. Farther east lies India's Bangar Fort, a majestic ruin cursed by an ancient wizard. Legend has it that any who stay overnight never return. Despite government warnings, thrill seekers still venture inside after dark. Some vanish. In England, the Tower of London stands not just as a historical monument, but as a chilling reminder of blood-soaked torture and betrayal. The ghost of Anne Boleyn is said to wander its cold halls, clutching her severed head. Meanwhile, over in Romania, Bran Castle, often linked to the Dracula legend, looms over the Transylvanian hills, hiding a dark history of impalements and sinister folklore. Now let's go south to Mexico, to Isla de las Muñecas, the island of the dolls. An eerie, swampy islet where hundreds of dolls hang from trees, their eyes blank, their limbs weathered. Hung by a grieving man after the drowning of a little girl, locals say the dolls whisper at night, their heads turning on their own. Across the ocean in the United States, the Stanley Hotel in Colorado inspired Stephen King's The Shining. Guests still report hearing piano music with no player, footsteps in empty corridors, and doors that slam without warning. Next stop, the Paris Catacombs. Beneath the City of Light lies a labyrinth of bones. Over 6 million skulls and skeletons line its walls. Explorers tell stories of being followed, of hearing voices in the tunnels, and of never finding their way out. In Scotland, the Edinburgh vaults hide beneath the city, damp, dark, and filled with a history of torture and illegal surgeries. Visitors describe the air turning icy cold, sudden nausea, and even scratches appearing on their skin. And let's not forget Australia's Monte Cristo homestead, considered the country's most haunted house. After decades of tragic deaths, the mansion remains frozen in time, with cold spots, ghost sightings, and even reports of possession. Finally, we end in the dark waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia. Built over submerged towns, it's now infamous for mysterious drownings, boats capsizing without cause, and strange figures seen under the surface. Locals believe the dead are calling from beneath. These places may look still, but they are alive with stories, some tragic, others terrifying, all unforgettable. If you ever visit, remember, not every shadow is empty, and not every silence means you're alone. But we're not done yet, because the world hides many more places where the veil between the living and the dead feels dangerously thin. Travel with us to the ancient ruins of Chichen Itza in Mexico, while by day it's a breathtaking symbol of Mayan history. By night, locals whisper of strange chants echoing from the pyramid steps and shadowy figures glimpsed between the stones. They say the souls of those sacrificed in ancient rituals still roam, trapped in endless torment. In the Philippines lies the Diplomat Hotel in Baguio City. Once a wartime refugee turned convent, it became the low site of horrific executions during World War II. The building is now abandoned, but witnesses claim to hear nuns crying, doors slamming violently, and headless apparitions floating in the halls. Similarly, in South Korea, the Gonjiam Psychiatric Hospital, now sealed off to the public, became notorious for mysterious deaths and a doctor who vanished without a trace. Locals say anyone who enters feels a crushing weight on their chest, and some never make it out. Crossing into the snowy terrain of Russia, we find the Dyatlov Pass, where 9 experienced hikers died under bizarre and unexplained circumstances. Their bodies were discovered with horrifying injuries, some with crushed skulls, others with missing eyes or tongues. To this day, no theory fully explains what happened. The site is considered cursed, and even modern expeditions report strange lights and a constant feeling of being watched. In Africa, we visit the Castle of Good Hope in South Africa, a 17th-century Dutch fortress. Once a place of colonial punishment, today it echoes with disembodied screams and spectral soldiers marching the corridors. Security guards often refuse to patrol certain areas alone. Over in Egypt, the Valley of the Kings may be an archaeological treasure, but those who disturb ancient tombs often speak of the Pharaoh's Curse, a series of deadly misfortunes and illnesses befalling those who dared awaken the ancient dead. Let's descend now into the depths of America's Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky. Once a tuberculosis hospital where thousands died in agony, it's now a hotspot for ghost hunters. Shadow people dart between the rooms, and visitors hear coughs, screams, and even voices whispering their names. One of the most chilling areas? The death tunnel, where bodies were once transported underground to avoid alarming other patients. In Ireland, Leap Castle has a violent history of betrayal and murder. Hidden behind a chapel wall, an oubliette, a small dungeon, was discovered, filled with human remains. One spirit, known only as the Elemental, is said to give off a revolting stench and strikes fear into anyone who sees it. Even seasoned paranormal investigators have fled the castle in terror. Heading to South America, in Colombia, we find the abandoned village of Armero. After a volcanic eruption buried the town in 1985, over 20,000 souls were lost. Survivors speak of hearing cries beneath the earth and ghostly apparitions walking through the ruins, reliving their final moments. Finally, in Canada, the Banff Springs Hotel offers luxury, but also a dark legend. A bride who fell to her death on the staircase during her wedding day is said to wander the halls, still in her white dress. Guests have reported dancing with a woman only to see her vanish mid-spin. Every corner of the earth has its shadows, places where history and horror bleed into one another. Whether through tragedy, violence, or forces we may never understand, these haunted places serve as chilling reminders. Some stories don't end with death. They linger, they haunt, and sometimes they call us closer. So next time you travel, take a moment to ask, who walked these halls before you? And are they still here?